Hey, what's up, everybody? So, this is Vignesh joining you all again today. So, I hope you are able to hear me. So, we are in the second episode of the product management series from Time Campus. This is going to be about the life cycle of a product. That's what this series is. That's what this episode is going to be all about. So, yeah, before I start the episode, be as interactive as possible so that we can know where we are behind. We will know whether you understand it properly. We will exchange ideas. So put down whatever you think in the chat, and we will respond then and there. Let's make this interactive and engaging as well. So with that, so today we are going to talk about the product life cycle, as we say. So let's quickly see what we have for today's agenda. And as I said, this is the second episode of the product management series. So in case you have missed any of the previous episodes, so in case you have missed the interviews we took yesterday, or in case you have missed anything else, so you can always go and check back in YouTube. So we have all the sessions recorded and placed in YouTube. So whenever you want, whenever you have the time, you can go and check it out. So we are from Monday to Saturday at 9 p.m. every day for 30 minutes. So that's what the schedule looks like, and today we are going to look at the second episode of what the product lifecycle looks like and what it means for the product manager. So and by the way, so before I get started, so there is one more thing which I would like to say. So I did receive a lots of feedback after yesterday's session. So good constructive feedback as well, good appreciation, encouragement. So and I also got some things where we are lagging behind. So these are some things like for instance, there is you say that there is a lot of animation when a speaker is talking, so there is a bit of distraction. So in case you have feedback like that, do let us know. So we will gradually keep improving every day as we go by. So with that, let's get started. So today, as I told you, it's going to be about the life cycle of a product. So we are going to talk about this. This is the second episode, as I told you. We are going to talk about how a product takes its shape. Like, how does a product go from the entire life cycle of a product, basically from birth to death, and bringing back to life again. So how does this entire process go about, and what you as an entrepreneur or as a product manager or any individual who is responsible for leading the direction of the product, or who can basically influence the direction of the product, you can basically do to basically fix things, and what is your role at each and every life cycle, each and every stage of the life cycle. That's what we will see today. So we will see the introduction. Introduction is nothing but this. So the growth, the development stage, the growth stage, maturity, and decline. These are the four stages through which a product goes through. So we will talk about all these four stages. So in case you want to share any details about this session, hashtag Time Campus and Never Stop is available for you, and you can always support us in Patreon at patreon.com/timecampus. So with that, let's get started. So when you are talking about a product, so any product for that matter, doesn't have to be a software, doesn't have to be any kind of product, hardware, or any product for that matter. It basically goes through this product life cycle, as we call it. So this is basically what the product life cycle looks like. This is the product life cycle graph. So you go from basically building a product, you start building a product, and then as and when your product matures, it goes through all these stages. So that's what it is all about. It's life cycle. So you have the first stage as introduction. Actually, there is one more stage before this, which is development, which is not depicted in the graph because that's an undefined stage. So I will talk about that as well. The first stage would be development. The second stage would be introduction. The third stage would be growth. Fourth would be maturity, and then the fifth would be decline. So these are the five major stages through which any product for that matter typically goes through. So we'll see what your responsibilities are. In fact, to summarize this entire session, all you need is is this slide basically. So it shows you this infographic basically. This shows you a clear idea on what it looks like. So you start from the development stage, and you take it to the maturity stage, and then at some point of time the product declines, and then you try to bring it back to life. So that's what we are going to talk about today. So the first stage being development. So just let me know if you are facing any technical issues. I hope I am audible for all of you. So in case you are facing any technical issues, let me know. The first stage would be development, as I told you. So the development stage, your main focus, the first stage of the product would be getting the product from a concept or an idea, building it to something which is catering to your vision. Basically, you have an idea or you have a concept. You start building out that concept, and then you basically think that, okay, this is what is going to be right for my customers. So you basically visualize your concept, you build out the product or idea which you have, and that's what the development life cycle goes through, and it takes a lot of iterations to mature. But in this stage, your main concentration would be basically to build things. So you don't have to worry about anything else, because you are in the first stage. You have not yet introduced the product to the market. What you are doing is, this is a stage which comes even before your MVP or your MLP. So in this stage, what you will do is, you will take the product, you will basically build it to what you think that the customers would really want. So that's your vision of what the customers need, and you try to basically build things. So your only concentration should be to basically enable that the development process is smooth, rapid, agile, and also to make sure that the user experience is great. To make sure that whatever ideas you have incorporated it onto the product development cycle. So this is stage where you basically bring your idea to life, at least to start with, so that you can go ahead and introduce it to the market. Because if you keep talking about an idea, people won't know about what you're talking about. So you have to build and show it to them. So this is that stage which is all about. So that's the product development stage. And as a product manager, your only role in this stage would be basically to facilitate the developers to enable the development of the product rapidly according to the idea you have. So like you have an idea, you basically want to build it out. So as a product manager or as a leader, your only job should be basically to say, okay, this is what I need in the product, and this is what the product is going to look like, and this is the outcome which I expect. So now build that out for me. That's what this stage is all about. And you basically validate it internally before even releasing it to the public. So we even call this as alpha testing, right? So yeah, that's what this is all about. So and the next stage of the cycle would be, life cycle would be the introduction stage. So in this stage, as I have written already, so your main goal would be to basically getting your product to the product market fit, as we call it. So there are a lot of tutorials on what product market fit actually is, but to summarize, product market fit is a stage where your product organically grows without even doing any sales or marketing. Basically, it's like your customers themselves become your salespeople, sort of. So basically, what that means is, so you are giving so much value to your customers that they really like it, they are getting something out of it, that they actually advocate using your product to other people. So this is where your product, even without any any marketing or anything for that matter, basically organically grows. So your aim is to basically incrementally build your product to get to the product market fit. So this is when you have to basically go about introducing the product to the market, and your priority as a product manager should be basically to purely get user feedback and incrementally build that out. So to basically see how the user experience goes. So you are focusing completely on your users in this stage, and your only focus is basically to take the feedback from the users, build it out in the product, and see if there is real value which you are delivering. So you have to go about hi Vijay Kumar, hi Shishir. So this stage is going to be all about basically taking in the feedback and building it out in the product, so that you can incrementally go about reaching the product market fit. So you have to see how do you build about the virality in your product. How do you give value to your customers for the money which they are paying if you are charging them. So and how do you basically go about making your product self marketing. So that's what it's all about this stage. So and let's assume you have reached the product market fit. In fact, this would be the stage where most of the startups die. So introduction stage is where all of the startups die. Almost 90% of the startups die here because they think that whatever they are building is really useful for the customers. They build it out, they spend all the effort, money, time, resources to build it out, and finally whatever they are delivering would not have achieved a product market fit, would not have basically given any value to any customer for that matter. So that's where most of the startups die. So if you are crossing this stage, that means that you have really achieved a good milestone. So after this, at least your journey is going to be a bit more easier, because the moment you have introduced the product to the market, the moment you have captured users' attention, then things will become a bit more easier, because you have an audience base to focus on. You know who your target audience is, you know what value you are delivering, and you also know what is your priority depending on the feedback which you get. So now things will be easier for you in the growth cycle. So here your only goal is to basically capitalize on the success which you achieved in the previous stage. So once you have attained the product market fit, once your product is gradually and organically growing, now it is important to scale up your product to make sure that you basically reach the break even. So you have basically spent some money in your product, invested in your product. You have also spent time and resources. You want to reach a stage where your product will become profitable for you. It will become a profitable business. It should also reach millions or billions of people in this stage, so that at least you get more and more reach. You try to reach the right target audience. You try to scale up your business, let's say to multiple continents, multiple countries, whatever it may be. You try to scale up your business, you try to grow your business, you try to leverage your partner networks, you try to leverage all the customers you have, and you try to basically grow your product incrementally. That's what this stage is all about. It's all about growth, just plain growth. And people neglect this stage a lot. So they think that, okay, I have reached the product market fit, and okay, now I'm good to go, so I can do anything I want. So they go about doing random things without any plan, which doesn't lead to growth. So if your product reaches product market fit and you don't focus on the growth, then things keep stagnating, and at some point of time you get some competitor who is going to take you over, who is going to basically run you over, as I would like to call it. So this is very important, because you have to focus on growth if you really want to scale up to huge amounts, as I say. So yes, you have to compete. You have to see who your competition is. If you even have any competition, you have to basically build out your product in such a way that it outmatches your competition. You basically have all the USP. You try to bring in all the customers from your competition to yourself, ethically. So you try to do all this to basically drive your product growth. So that's what this stage is all about. And you, as a product manager or a leader, your only focus is to basically see what the USP for your product is, capitalize on it, drive your product for scale, like add referrals, partner networks, and market your product heavily in social media and whatnot. And the next would be basically to go about thinking of your product as from a virality factor. Like, how do you go about adding some virality element so that it will basically grow rapidly amongst all the people. So, and also your another role would be to basically see how do you scale about increasing the capacity of your team, so that you can build more and more faster, have rapid iteration cycles, you can pick up more customers, you have ability to deliver more with all the resources you have. So scaling your team, scaling the product market, scaling your marketing operations, you basically scale everything. That's what this stage is all about. And let me know if you don't understand anything, so I will stop then and there. So I am just talking through, so in case you have any doubts, let me know. You just have to type in the comments and I will reply. So next stage is basically about the maturity of the product. So you have crossed the growth, you have crossed the product market fit, you have crossed the growth stage. Now this is a stage where your product basically has a sort of self-driving business, as I would like to call it. So you have a business, a true business. You have profit, you have customer base, you have everything which you want. But now this is a stage where your product has matured in the market. Your product is basically giving value to all your customers, but at the same time you have to make sure that you basically keep up with what you are doing. So you don't just think that, okay, I have crossed my growth stage, I have grown tremendously, I had already reached the product market fit, I have grown tremendously, now I have nothing to do. You should not think like that, but rather, okay, now I have grown tremendously, now I have to see how do I maintain retention. So one important thing which people don't focus on again is they don't focus on retaining their customers. So they think that, okay, I am giving something to the customer once and my job is done. No, your job is not done. So your job is never done basically when you are in a product world. So your job goes about like this. So a customer gives a feedback, you address it. Again someone gives a feedback, he or she gives a feedback, you address it again, you retain them, you give them an amazing experience, that even if someone else is trying to cross sell or whatever, even if someone is trying to upsell their product, they are trying to discount their offerings, or trying to drive customers away from you, they won't basically go, because they really have that sort of trust in you. They really believe what you do, they really are getting some real value out of what you are giving, that they basically don't want to switch to anyone else. So you are retaining your customers, you are giving them an amazing experience, and that is what the stage is all about. So it's all about sustaining the market, capitalizing on your leadership, and making sure that you don't get too overconfident. For instance, there were a lot of social media platforms or a lot of social media platform, blogging platforms. I don't think anyone is using Blogger today. People are mainly moving towards Medium or their own blogging site or WordPress. So that's because Medium has gone about thinking of blogging in a different way. So they have thought about how do you make the experience clean for the editors who are writing blogs. How do you make the experience clean for the people who are actually reading the blogs? So you go about thinking of your product in such ways. So now, once you have reached the maturity stage, the next stage would be decline. Now this stage is going to be hard. So yes, you had reached the product market fit, you had grown, you had outgrown your opponents, you had basically capitalized on your competition, you capitalized on your USP, sustained the market, you had done all that, your product had reached the peak. But at some point of time, you should agree to this. At some point of time, you will always face the downward spiral. You may face. I wish that you don't face, but this happens because of either the market conditions or some mistake you make. Like for instance, now it's all the COVID time, right? So all the businesses which were actually doing well before, now they may not be doing so well as before, because the market conditions are bad now. People don't, the buying or purchasing capacity of the people are bad. So it's not great at this stage. So I would call COVID would be the decline stage for many businesses. But it can vary depending on your business. So it can change. So depending on, let's say, the market condition or your decision or your team, or even the customer experience for that matter, or you may face a security flaw suddenly and people would suddenly switch out of your business. You might be doing some privacy violation, legal violation, and people will suddenly switch out of your business. So for instance, Facebook also had such declines. So it's not like Facebook has reached the top, no. So Facebook reached the top and then suddenly started declining because of lot of privacy concerns, lot of internal problems which Facebook has had. So Facebook also has faced this decline stage. I don't know if it's still facing it. I have to look at the stats. But this is where you make sensible decisions. So now your true potential as a leader or a product manager comes here. So this is where you basically think of your product. You don't get too emotionally attached to your product. You have to see the true hard facts. You have to see the data. You have to see why your product is even declining. You basically must have analysis to go about taking any decision in this stage. So let's say your product is facing the decline. Yes, okay, fine. It's facing the decline. Don't get attached to it. So you have to see yes, for Zoom and other video conferencing apps, they have faced only incline in this stage. Yes, they have. But the thing which you have to remember is inclination is never permanent. So Zoom might face growth in market right now, but you may never know. It might not be permanent. For instance, Paytm faced a lot of incline during the demonetization stage, but now I don't think Paytm is gaining that market traction. So they have a lot of competitors now in the market. Now Paytm is facing a huge losses and decline. So things do become inclined, but not always. You have to remember that when you are going about designing a product. So now about the decline. So when you are basically looking for deciding as a product manager, so your main goal in the decline stage should be to basically think about critical decisions, not incremental decisions, but basically drastical decisions. You can't go about thinking incrementally in this stage, because you have to basically do something to make your business survive. For instance, Elon Musk, when he launched his third rocket, that was the stage which was do or die for him, right? So he had to basically make that a success, or his business is going to get shut down. So that is the stage which is a critical stage. So you have to make such smart decisions. You have to make drastic decisions, transformative decisions, or you have to basically abandon ship at some point of time. So you have to think, okay, the competitor has outgrown a lot. They have a lot of features which basically I don't have. They have a lot of usability. They have a lot of user experience which I don't have. Sometimes you have to basically abandon ship. You have to be smart about it, because the cost of keeping up with the competition might be huge in this stage. So your competitors may be outsmarting you in every level in this stage, and going about incremental growth is not good at the decline stage. You have to go about transformative growth. So let's assume you are facing the decline, and some way or the other you are able to bring about they say, right, there is always light even in the darkness. So if you are able to find that light in the darkness somehow, really good. But if you are lost in the darkness, that's going to be very difficult for you to come back out of the darkness. That's what this stage is all about. It's going to be all darkness, and your job as a product manager, to be honest, is to find the light in the darkness. So that's what your job is. See what really resonates with your product, what is your true vision, what doesn't your product offer, what doesn't your competitor offer, and offer it in yourself, or abandon ship. So see if you can do some discounting, see if you can get some external investors, convince some external investors who really believe in you. So think of all these factors, and maybe it might come back to the growth stage. But it's a gamble, I would say. You have to take into all the analytics and data to go about the stage, and that's what. So if you go about building a product without adding metrics or analytics, so then you're not building a true product. So whenever you build a product, just make sure that you build analytics as part of the product, metrics as part of the product, because you would at least know why did your product even start to decline. If you don't have that information, you can't go about improving it. Unless you know why your product is declining, you can't improve it, right? So that's what this stage is all about. Capitalize on your analytics and see how you can correct or fix those mistakes. Yes, that's all I had to share for this session, and you can ask me anything you want. So I'll be around in the chat. We'll be closing shop in 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, let me know. So otherwise, thank you for attending the stream. We will be back again tomorrow, and tomorrow I guess it's going to be the My Factory session, where we will be building the product architecture live for you in the stream. So if you have any problem statement or idea which you want to build out in your product, so let us know what your problem statement is, and we will build it out for you live in the stream tomorrow at 9. So that's what we will be doing. And let us know what your problem statement is. You can throw it down in the form which we have in our GitHub repository. So in case you have not seen it, it's github.com/timecampus/neverstop. So this is the URL. So let me know if you don't have it. I will share it across. And if you basically come down to the My Factory season 1, and if you basically come down here, there is a section called submit entry. So if you go to this form basically, so I just have to go to this form. You fill out your problem statement, whatever your problem statement is, and we will go about solving that live tomorrow in the stream at 9. So let us know what you think about this session. If you have any feedback, constructive criticism, let us know, so that we will gradually improve ourselves. But otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to reach us out in social media anytime. And yes, think about this every day. So what if today was your last? And one announcement for everyone who is attending the stream today. So then coming Saturday, we would be interviewing Mr. Virender Agarwal, CEO of Ramco Systems. So make sure that you attend the session, because it's going to be really interesting. We are going to see what leadership is all about, what it really means, how he, as the CEO of Ramco Systems, has gone about leadership. So we will see about all that. We will see how he is facing all the challenges amidst COVID, how he is basically battling all the challenges, and about his experience as well. So we will be interviewing him coming Saturday. So make sure you join that session. And yeah, these are my contact details. So you can always email me, tweet at me, or use the hashtag which I have given already, #timecampus/neverstop. Subscribe to our channel, follow us, let us know what you feel, and we have some amazing announcements for you on July 1st. So stick around for that as well. So we have some interesting things to announce. We'll be doing that soon in the social media. So make sure you follow us so that you know what announcements we have to make. So thank you for attending today, and yeah, I'll be hanging around. So let me know what you think.